Stop what you're doing if you're planning to buy a Nikon camera right now. You could be throwing your money straight into the trash. For classified leaks just surfaced, exposing an upcoming wave of bodies that will instantly turn current favorites into overpriced paperweights. From a retro-styled street machine to a spiritual successor wildlife shooters have begged for over a decade, Nikon is rewriting the rules. But the biggest trap isn't the price tag of these new bodies. It's buying the wrong gear before they drop. Let's expose what's coming. Kicking off at number 4 is the camera banking entirely on nostalgia, the incoming Nikon Zf2. The original Zf proved that people are desperate for gear with real character. But once the honeymoon phase of tactile metal dials and faux leather finishes wears off, the hardware has to fight for survival. The leaks point to a 24.5 megapixel partially stacked sensor. That means lightning-fast data readout, radically reduced rolling shutter, and an autofocus tracking engine that finally locks onto moving subjects instead of just looking pretty while missing them. Toss in 6K RAW capability and 4K 120 frames per second with upgraded thermal management, and you have a serious tool. Here's the catch. At roughly $2,499, it crashes headfirst into the proven, highly available Nikon Z6 III. Unless you are deeply obsessed with manual-style control rings, paying a premium for pure aesthetics makes this a brutally hard sell. Keep your eyes peeled between June and September 2027, but don't hold your breath just yet. Moving to number 3, we hit the camera Nikon completely left out in the cold, the Z7 III. While the Z8 and Z9 evolved at warp speed, the Z7 II became the forgotten middle child of resolution. The leak picture here is split down the middle. Will Nikon opt for a 45.7 megapixel partially stacked sensor matching Z8 tier speeds, or push the envelope all the way to 61 megapixels for pure, unadulterated studio and landscape detail? We're looking at massive in-body stabilization upgrades, pixel shift modes, 8K video, and a dual card layout combining CF Express and UHS-2 SD slots. Priced around $3,499, Nikon is gambling that architectural and landscape purists will pay top dollar for specialized detail over the versatile jack-of-all-trades nature of the Z8. But if you shoot a bit of everything, the Z8 remains an absolute fortress that's nearly impossible to walk away from. At number 2 sits the heavyweight champion, the Nikon Z92. How do you upgrade a flagship that already dominates the industry? You don't do it with minor tweaks. The leaked blueprint showcases a 46 megapixel stacked sensor boasting a readout speed roughly 3.5 times faster than the original Z9. We are talking about mind-bending specs: 60 frames per second full-resolution RAW bursts, 120 frames per second in DX mode, and a lightning-fast flash sync speed of 1/720th of a second. And for the filmmakers? Say hello to 8.3K 3:2 open gate recording at 60 frames per second and internal 12-bit RAW workflows, heavily borrowing from Nikon's acquisition of Red. At a projected $6,499, this isn't just an upgrade. It's an aggressive attempt to poach high-end cinema shooters and photojournalists. But remember, numbers this extreme often get dialed back before mass production hits. Which brings us to the crown jewel at number 1. The camera that wildlife and sports shooters have mourned for years, the spiritual successor to the legendary D500, widely tracked under the moniker, the Nikon Z90. For years, a massive gap sat between entry-level crop bodies and ultra-expensive full-frame flagships. The leaks point to a 45 megapixel stacked APS-C DX sensor stuffed into a rugged, high-speed body. Think about what that means. A crop sensor instantly magnifies your telephoto reach, giving you frame-filling wildlife shots without needing a second mortgage for giant glass. Paired with stacked sensor readout speeds, you get pro-tier performance in a lightweight, compact footprint. At an estimated $2,699, it asks full-frame money for a crop sensor. But if it delivers D500-level reliability paired with modern Z-series autofocus, sports shooters will line up around the block. With a rumored announcement window hitting around late summer 2026, this might just be the ultimate disruptive drop of the year. Here is the bottom line. The Zf2 refines a style icon. The Z7 III saves a neglected resolution line. The Z92 pushes the absolute limits of speed. And the Z90 brings back a legend. If you shoot everyday travel, keep tabs on the Zf2. If you want pure detail, look at the Z7 III. Already own a Z9. Sit tight. But if you're chasing wildlife and sports, the Z90 is the exact camera worth waiting for. Before you pull the trigger on any gear today, you need to watch this. Click the video flashing on your screen right now, because the most popular Nikon camera on the market right now is secretly the worst one you could buy.